What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So we're here. We're going to be talking about just the fallout from Arsenal 1, Chelsea nil at the Emirates. Kind of a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss. Um, we'll be talking about the player reactions to it, a little snippet of Cole Palmer talking to a specific Arsenal player after the game, what was said, what wasn't said, and why it's not necessarily a big deal that they're interacting, and also supposed links and more news ramping up about Julian Alvarez and Chelsea possibly trying to come to an agreement on a move to the bridge in the summertime. So if you like these kind of videos, you like soccer, you like sports, you like anything like that, man, drop a like, comment, sub, get involved, please. Share with your friends. I've been seeing a lot of traction on my shorts lately. Please, please, please keep on engaging with me. I do respond. I like the interaction. And without further ado, we will get started on the fallout to the weird game yesterday that I felt like we should have really went for. So yesterday, you would think a cup semifinal, Arsenal Chelsea, spot to a trip to Wembley on the line, right? Up for grabs. You would think there would be a sense of urgency from Chelsea where if we score the first goal, the stadium is going to be feeling restless. The players are going to be feeling anxious. There's going to be pressure on Arteta to figure it out because he can no longer just sit back and contain and then hit you on the counter or hit you on a set piece, which is what happened yesterday, right? Arsenal held firm for 96 minutes, didn't allow anything really. It says we had 14 shots and two on target. I'm going to be real. There wasn't really much of an attacking threat. Like the actual character these players showed and the emotion, yeah, that was there. But the actual execution of what was supposed to be done yesterday, playing with nothing to lose because the pressure wasn't on Chelsea to get a result. The pressure was on Arsenal to make sure that they don't lose the game, right? And Arsenal did what they needed to do. Just don't concede a goal and we'll be fine. That's how they set up and they hit us on the counter because we got desperate at the end. We wait until we absolutely need to go all guns blazing and then we get hit on the counter. And there's nothing that Robert Sanchez can do about that because at the end of the day, there's two players running towards goal. There's only one outcome there, right? So unfortunately, Kai Havertz is the guy that scored. I personally don't have an issue with Kai Havertz. I just don't like that he went to Arsenal. I don't think he's a snake. I just feel like he understood what was coming at the club and he wanted to get out of there. And for his career and for his sake, it's good on him that you left because I don't know how he would be doing now in this current Chelsea setup. But anyway, the board have already made it clear that they weren't necessarily looking at this competition as something that they care about. All they really care about is just maintaining their positioning in the Champions League. And at the end of the day, that's fine, but that should be the bare minimum of what this club should be trying to go do, right? Because me growing up and a lot of Chelsea fans growing up, right, all we knew was seeing this team win trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. It's why they're the only team in world football that have won every single trophy that is available to them. There's a reason for that, right? So we're used to seeing silverware coming through the doors of the bridge every season, at least something, right? And consistent Champions League football. But since Blueco have come in, it's been like this, more this than this, but it was trending upwards towards the end of the Pochettino season, the first season of Enzo Maresca, even though a lot of people think that they overachieved. I don't think they overachieved. I think they should have gotten top 4 that season because there weren't 4 other teams better than them, in my opinion, that year. There just wasn't. So, what I'm getting to here is that the ambition that this club used to have is no longer there, and that's primarily down to who is running the club because these players want to win. They tasted the winning feeling twice last season. They felt the feeling of securing Champions League football for the first time as a group, right? And now they're in the top 8 of the Champions League where they go to the round of 16 automatically. It's a mental boost for everybody. Sorry, within the club, that on their day they can get the job done, but they have to be consistent. But if you're getting interference from upstairs on what players are in the lineup week in, week out, then it's going to be hard for a manager to build continuity on the pitch with the same 11, right? But what I said in my short, I think a few days ago, was that I don't think Lee Rosina is a yes man. I feel like he's the type of guys like, I'll do what you're asking me to do, but at the end of the day, when it comes to my job and my security, I need to do what I need to do. Even if it is taking off players that you asked me to start, I'm going to bring all my star players so that I could try to get the game turned around. And more often than not, since he's taken over, it has happened. Yesterday, it was going to be a tough ask, regardless of who you brought on yesterday, because Arsenal were set up in a way where they just weren't going to concede a goal. So at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world that we're knocked out in the semifinal of the Carabao Cup, but it is disappointing that they didn't show enough fight and ambition yesterday to just go get the result and try to win the game yesterday. Because they defended fine yesterday. The problem was the attack. We set up to not concede as well yesterday, but at the end of the day, when you don't have wingers on the pitch at the start, then it's going to be very, very difficult to stretch out Arsenal's back line. And we had to filter our attacks through the middle most of the game in the first half specifically, and we're not able to create anything because there's no pulling apart your fullbacks or their center halves to where space can be left in behind for your attackers, for your strikers, for your Cole Palmers to attack into, right? But um, at the end of the day, there's still a lot to play for this season. Chelsea are still in 2 competitions. I'm not counting like the Premier League unless you want to count the top 4 race as a competition. But there's still 2 pieces of silverware available for this club to obtain. I feel like they can get one of those 2. It's just a matter of how bad do they want it. So, not the end of the world. We have to quickly turn our focus to Wolves at the weekend, the bottom team in the Premier League, where I'm expecting nothing less than 3 points. Anything less than 3 points on Saturday is a disappointment. And it will show me that they reacted negatively to losing the way that they lost to Arsenal. And speaking of that, there's something I want to pull up here about Wesley Fofana that I feel like needs to be talked about. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Yeah. So I have this post right here from CFC Picks. I mean, it's just saying big up West. This is the type of disappointment I want to see. Losing a chance at any trophy should hurt badly. And if it doesn't, then you shouldn't be at Chelsea. And it's just a basic picture of him crying like after the result conceding the way that they conceded. And you know, yeah, the emotion is correct in terms of you should be upset that you lost a chance at a trophy. But what I'm not a fan of really is if this is how you felt after the game, then like where was the fight to try to go get the goal that we needed to at least make the tie interesting at the Emirates? Like that's what I'm asking for. I'm not trying to sound harsh or nothing like that, but at the end of the day, it's I appreciate the emotion. It shows me you care, but where was that when we needed to go get the goal to bring the tie level again? That's what I'm looking for. It's not after the fact when you get scored on in the 96th minute and the game and the tie was already over. Like Arsenal are already up 3-2. So it didn't really matter if they didn't score or not. That goal was really just salt in the wounds because we threw everybody up. So it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's great to see that he cares, but at the end of the day, we need to see the emotion in the attacking third in games like this where you just take a risk and take a chance because something's going to happen if you continue to take risks. We saw that against Napoli, we saw that against West Ham in the second half, and we've seen that in a large parts of this season. Like this team can take a risk, but it's just a matter of them pulling the trigger, right? So next part of this video, man, like when I was talking about PR, and like a few other YouTubers out there are talking about dangling a carrot in front of their face, man. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. But let's not react too negatively to Chelsea losing to Arsenal at the Emirates. There's still a chance that we can get them at the Emirates in the league, and I feel like we will. It's just a matter of taking care of business until we get to that point. But let's go ahead and get into this summer transfer news that is supposedly happening, right? Sure. So, you know, when we heard about the Jeremy Jacquet stuff, right? It was like a lot of us Chelsea fans, not me specifically, but a lot of Chelsea fans were like, I can see why we're going after him. I can kind of understand the thought process, but was it ever really going to happen? No, because how many times have the board said that we're going to prioritize certain positions and they go after certain players and the deals never happen, right? The most recent one and probably one of the most famous ones that we've seen is the Xavi Simons deal where he was waiting for the call, right? He was waiting for the call from Chelsea to basically say, "Come and get me." But in the 11th hour, Tottenham swooped in because they were serious about buying him. So if we pull up this little clip right, I mean not this clip. If we pull up this picture right here, man, I mean it's just the epitome of gaslighting the entire fan base once again, right? It says Chelsea are targeting a center back, midfielder, and attacker in the summer window. They have assets to sell in the summer and have brought 84 million from winning the Club World Cup, another 80 million by progressing into the last 16 of the Champions League with possibility of more to come. So I saw this, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, it feels like, okay, sure. If they're serious about trying to win something, then I'm expecting some type of experience, honestly. But are they going to really do that? No, they're not. It's like this is the thing that I don't think people are understanding. They dangled the carrot, they put fresh bait in front of us and said, we're all but set to sign Jeremy Jacquet, and then in the 11th hour, Liverpool come out of nowhere and take him out. And you it comes out later that because he felt that Josh Achiampong and Sarr were going to take minutes away from him, but Chelsea never made a bid in the first place. They never attempted. This is just another case of they're just trying to feed our hopes again. Unless Rafinha finds a way to win the Champions League and safely secure us in the top 4 in this season's Premier League, he's not going to have a say on what players get to come in and out the door. And that's where we're in this conundrum again, where it's like, how many times is the media going to continue to feed us this bullshit at the end of the day? Like, I don't truly believe that we're going to go after anybody extreme in the summertime unless we sell somebody insane like an Enzo Fernandez, right? Or God forbid a Cole Palmer, man. But Chelsea are not gonna go do anything in extreme in the summertime. I would love to see it because I feel like there are positions in this team that need to be upgraded heavily, particularly on the left wing. And because Gittins and Garnacho are not going to be the long-term answers down that side. And I've been speaking on Mikhailo Mudryk a lot, man, and it's like if he's able to come back at any capacity, whether it's some point this season or even at the start of next season, I'm gonna be real. I say you cut your losses with a Garnacho and a Gittins. You keep Mudryk and you go get yourself a star left winger. But all that depends on if Chelsea can get in the top four or win the Champions League. Champions League football is important because it allows you to sign the better caliber player. And when we get to this next player that I'm going to speak on, it's these are the kind of players that if you secure Champions League football and you're serious about trying to win the league, you go after players like Julian Alvarez, whose agent was actually at the derby yesterday between Arsenal and Chelsea, and we're just talking, I believe, to either the Arsenal board or the Chelsea board about a potential move. And it's like if Chelsea find a way to get into the top four, secure Champions League or win the Champions this season's Champions League, Julian Alvarez is an absolute possibility. And that's why I say cut your losses with Gittins and Garnacho. In my opinion, cut your losses because I'd rather go after somebody like that. Someone that's proven, honestly, in the Premier League and La Liga. World Cup winner, right? Argentinian international, right? Like, you need players of his quality in the squad, along with going to go get somebody else down the left hand side. I'm gonna keep stressing this about the left wing position at Chelsea. It has not been filled since Eden Hazard. They like nobody has come in because I'm not counting Esteval or Cole Palmer because they play off the right. Palmer more central, but in the Club World Cup we saw him play on the wings more. So he can play down the right wing, which is honestly, in my opinion, I'd kind of prefer him to play a little off the right so he can cut in. But it's to each their own at the end of the day, right? I just believe that if Chelsea really want to win next season's Premier League, because it's not happening this season, you have to go get a star left winger to take the pressure off of your center forward that is going to be expected to get 20 goals a season because when Chelsea have a when besides Cole Palmer obviously, right? When Chelsea have a striker that scores 20 plus goals in a season, they typically win the league. Could you imagine if Chelsea actually had an elite striker and João Pedro isn't being forced to play as like the lone striker and you play him in a front two? I mean, I can cook with lineups all day, but at the end of the day, this board has to be ambitious enough, just like how the fans want the best players to come to the bridge and put on a show. Because at the end of the day, this sport is entertainment. And if the people running the show aren't entertaining, you're gonna lose interest in your product. And I don't believe the fans will ever turn on the players. I just feel like the fans have turned on the board. And that's a completely different conversation that we can have because the players have shown they care about the badge and about the fans. And that's the most important thing. When you start seeing the fans and the players celebrate with each other, there's obviously a connection because I feel like honestly, and you know, people love the Eden Hazard era of Chelsea. They love the Frank and Drogba era of Chelsea, right? But I don't think that these fans, including myself, have ever felt more connected to a squad of players where you just want to see them do well. You just want the best for them, right? And it's like it always breaks my heart and it always breaks, I feel like a lot of other Chelsea fans' heart to see this team lose the way that they lose. But when you're supporting a young team that you know in 2 or 3 seasons might end up being a top 2 or 3 team in the world, even though they're Club World Cup champions, Chelsea are not the best team in the world. Like, let's go ahead and put that to the side and, like, check out the jersey I'm wearing, right? Like, they're not the best team in the world. Maybe they're top 10, arguably top 10, maybe top 15, definitely top 15, arguably top 10, because there's teams out there right now that are just playing exceptional football this season that, maybe in a one-off game, I'll always pick my squad, but at the end of the day, the team has to improve in so many areas where it's for this season, it's just focusing on getting into the Champions League spots and trying to win the Champions League, try to win the FA Cup, right? But next season, you go into the transfer window where I spoke on they're looking at trying to sign players in certain positions. If the club are serious, man, and like they want to stop gaslighting us, then stop saying that you're going to go do these things and actually just go get these players, right? Go get the players that cost 70, 80 million that are proven. You're not going to be spending 70, 80 million on a wonder kid unless it's Esteval, right? Which what we spent on, right? It wasn't 70, 80 million, but it was a bargain because now look at him. His transfer profit in general, his transfer value has tripled since he stepped foot in Europe. That goal against Barcelona alone like skyrocketed his value at least 70 million. Like, and I want to speak on Esteval as well because I saw a comment on my short talking about how I thought he played on the right. He does play on the right-hand side. What I was saying was there's been games this season where I've seen him down the left-hand side and he wasn't too bad now, was he? Right? Like the great thing about Esteval is that he's a pure winger. So he's going to be able to play down whatever side you ask him to play on. Now, he's obviously better down the right-hand side, but we have to remember here, he can cut in on his right-hand side, and we've seen rockets with his right foot. The goal against Barcelona was on his supposed weaker foot. Like the guy could play on either wing. What I'm saying is like we saw a game earlier this season where he was playing down the left-hand side and was giving fits, causing problems. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's a left winger, no, but he's a pure winger. He can play on either wing, but he's predominantly a right winger where he does more damage, where he causes more chaos, where he gets all of his goals from essentially, right? So, yeah, Esteval and it's one more thing I want to speak on when it comes to him, man. Um, I hope everything is going well with with his family. Understanding that losing somebody close in your family is never easy. I lost my dad over 5 years ago. So I understand the pain and this and the emotion that comes with it. So to Esteval, his family, everybody down there in Brazil, my thoughts and prayers are with you. It's great that we saw him back yesterday, but clearly there's a lot on his mind. Um, just hope everything is going right for him mentally. But getting back to football, it's he the over reliance on him, is why I'm crying out to go get another winger with some type of fucking grit, like some type of quality at the end of the day. Because Garnacho is so hot and cold, like I'm over it already. Like I'm already over it. And for Jamie Gittins, man, it's just yes, he's out right now with a hamstring injury, but it's just not good enough, right? It just isn't good enough. So that's why I'm asking, like, please, can we just go take a risk? And like, this is who I would just go get because I'm tired of seeing every summer. He's linked away with the move. Just go get the guy. Just go get me Rafael Leao, and you'll have your left wing covered for the next 5 to 6 years, man. Just go do it. Stop fucking around. Stop playing around. Just go get somebody of his caliber, man. Just somebody. Like, let me know what you guys like think about that. I mean, it's just I want to see this team be ambitious enough to go to AC Milan and say, look, we know he wants out. We know he wants to change of scenery, and we know he wants an increase in pay. But are the board going to be willing to pay more than what the wage structure is? All that depends on if Chelsea can get into next season's Champions League, man. Like all this stuff is just dependent on Chelsea need to get in the top four or win the Champions League. Like at the end of the day, that's what needs to happen. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Like, comment, sub, drop your thoughts on everything I talked about in this video. Share with your friends, bell notifications, turn those on as well. Um, but yeah, without further ado, bro, I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Peace.